Hello, this is my recap for 2020. It's a pretty good day, got a lot of stuff done. I should actually finally be finished with the laundry. Today, the children picked out their own set of clothing. Everything has been sorted and put in their respective drawers. I'm going to go do my clothing right after this video is over. It's going to be a short video because I got something in the oven. And tomorrow, I'm going to make a pretty major change. And I really hope that I go through with it because it'll be very helpful for me to not die and to get in better health and better shape, just because I don't like being quite so squishy. I've never been one to worry about whether I'm attractive, just because it's never really mattered in my life whether I was attractive. The people that I'm attracted to tend to be more of the mental stimulation kind of people, with the occasional very, very shallow person getting a pleasant surprise thrown in for whatever random reason that wound up happening. But I've never really had to worry about it, so I haven't worried about it. But I'm thinking, just because I've been making these positive changes, I know for a fact that exercising in general is good for you, and being in better shape is good for you, and is supposed to help with depression and energy level and a whole bunch of things that I have a problem with. So, why not? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try, and every day that I'm home during nap time, 12 to 4, first thing, before anything else, instead of taking a nap like I would normally do, unless some unforeseen circumstance keeps me up till like 3 in the morning, because that does happen sometimes. But as much as I'm able physically, I am going to try and exercise for 1 straight hour. Just walking, throwing in some sit-ups or push-ups or whatever I can have the energy for. But at least walking, because I know I can walk for an hour in pretty much any circumstance. I'm also noticing, since I'm making these positive changes in my life, that a lot of my weird mental things are becoming less of an issue. And I don't know if I should be concerned about that or just happy that I'm less crazy. For instance, I started this series of videos with the intention of making every single video right here at the exact same time, wearing the exact same shirt, to sort of set my mind, this is my interview space. Or rather, this is my recap space. This is where I do this thing, because it'll help me be more free, honest, and help me to a higher standard if I make it as regimented as possible. The more things I can add into that habit that don't increase the complexity of that habit, the more likely I will remember and ingrain that habit. So I really wanted to always wear the same shirts. And this time that shirt was unavailable. And instead of saying, well, I'll wait until it's available, or I'll just skip it for tonight, or what have you, bullshit excuse, even though it's making me kind of uncomfortable, I'm wearing a different shirt. It's not as nice a shirt. It's not a bad looking shirt. But it's something that I genuinely feel would not have been able to do last week. Like, it would have felt too wrong. Or maybe that is just an excuse, and it would have been fine, and I just didn't know because I didn't try. So, along with the whole trying new stuff and making positive changes, maybe I'm just going to find out a lot of the stuff I always assumed, I'm crazy, that's just the way my brain works, is just, no, I just never tried to do it a different way. Or the few times I did try and do it a different way, I happened to have a bad experience, so I stopped trying that thing. When the bad experience was like mild inconvenience at best, and has caused me considerably more inconvenience avoiding that thing than it would have just try it again, baby. At a certain point you gotta say, well, okay, this is definitely not gonna work, but I mean, trying every once in a while seems like a reasonable thing to do. Even if you can't always try and give the benefit of the doubt, you can try and give the benefit of the doubt, I guess. Watching anime is weirdly very impactful. It's something like, is it wrong to try and pick up girls in a dungeon? It's Familia Myth is the English subtitle. It's way easier to remember. It seems like it would make a really awesome video game, and I'm so glad. First quarter of 2020, they're coming out with one. And there's also a mobile game that's sold like 5 million copies. So that's cool. I downloaded that. I'm going to check it out later. But the basic thing I noticed, and I noticed this initially from a horn dog perspective, because I'm naturally a horn dog, that this seemingly weak and not very, like, traditionally cool dude had all these really interesting and in different ways attractive women falling all over him. And my brain naturally likes to categorize things. A 10 goes with a 10. 2 goes with a 2. Is a general rule of human life. Really the only consistent standard I've been able to glean from experience and from paying attention to people is that almost everyone wants to be with someone of a higher social status and who's more attractive than them in some way, whether it be physical looks, a stable income, something like that. You always want to kind of trade up from your current situation, even if you then stay with that person for the rest of your life. Initially, there was a trade up in some aspect from your perspective, from what I can tell. And while that's not necessarily a bad thing, as long as you're not looking at it as like, oh, I need to trade up. You know, you're looking at it with this practice of, I like this person, they're better than me at this thing, which I find valuable, so I spend time with them, so I like them as a person. That's not like a bad thing. But what I noticed was the difference between his behavior and my normal behavior in any given situation is less that he was weak or not manly or letting someone else control him or anything negative. It was more just like he was choosing to look on the positive side of things and try and be nice to everyone he met. Like, not to gain anything, just because it was a thing that he felt like doing. That's just how he thought. And it occurred to me that seems like life would be way more fun that way. Like, focusing on negative stuff isn't an enjoyable part of my day. And I always thought of myself as, if I give in and try and just do things the nice way, that I'm going to screw myself over, that I'm going to wind up missing out on a promotion or a relationship or some sort of necessary thing or thing that would improve my life or my family's life, because I wasn't aggressive and trying to take everything I could get in every situation, making the best possible situation for me and who I care about. And it seems like that was a really dumb way to think. And I've always thought, well, most people can't think that way because society would collapse, obviously, because it's not super good if everyone thinks that way, but it's also kind of helpful for a certain percentage of people to think that way. And what I realized that I think a lot of people have been trying to explain to me my whole life, and I'm just now figuring it out from an anime because I'm dumb, is it doesn't matter if that occasionally produces the maximum amount of success possible. It's not fun, and it's not happy, and it doesn't, as a general rule, make the average person like you. And it's not important that people like you as a general rule, but your life is in general better if people like you. And the likelihood of me, like, this is kind of self-loathing or bad of thinking about myself, but it's not likely that I'm ever going to be one of those people who rockets to the top of any particular field. I'm competent at my job. I care a lot about what I do as a stay-at-home parent and about what I did as a teacher. And when I get in the classroom again, I'm going to give 100% just like I did before and keep trying to be a better teacher because it's what I enjoy doing. But I'm never going to be the best teacher in the world. It's never going to happen. I don't have it in me to be that person. But that doesn't mean I can't try and be better than I am now. And it seems like a really good way to help with that goal that I'm trying to do of being better than I am now is to assume, whenever possible, that a good thing is going to happen. And people are going to be nice. And a situation will work out well. And I say that a lot, logically, because that makes sense. It doesn't make sense to hurt yourself in the present for something that might happen in the future. Be prepared for it, but don't agonize over it. And I have trouble with it sometimes. And it seems to me like if I just put more effort into that thought process and that viewpoint, eventually it might become second nature, and my life and the lives of the people around me will improve. Maybe in small ways, like just having more friends. Maybe in big ways, like getting a good job, from meeting somebody nice, or making a better relationship in some major way for me and my wife, or helping my children be better people in a way that I wouldn't have been able to before, just from making a connection and exposing them to some new thing. Maybe someone in town does amateur plane flying, and by making friends with them, my kid gets his pilot license 20 years from now. I'm never going to know unless I try and do those things. And again, it's just throwing me. Has most of my life been my disease, and I'm just fixing it now with medication and therapy? Have I been a coward for most of my life, too scared to try? Both? Has there been nothing wrong with me, and I just didn't get the proper training, I guess, that normal people get from their life? Whatever is the reason, I gotta say I'm doing better now, and I like it, and I'm gonna keep trying to do even better, because even if I'm not happier on any particular day, and I may have been happier that day based on past experience by making a different choice, it seems like it's making a positive difference for my children. It seems like it's making a positive difference more days than not with my wife, and more days than not, I don't think to myself, what is the point of doing all of this shit when I could just, for lack of a better term, fuck off? It just seems like that thought process is happening less. I mean, I know it's not been a long time, and I have cyclical depression, so I will have periods of mania, or rather, it seems like mania compared to how I normally feel, but I guess it's just normal for most people. So this might just be one of those periods of time, but even if it is, I'm choosing this time to make small, possible, positive changes instead of just enjoying it, so to speak, and being happy that I'm happy. And I think that's a good decision. Also, my stuff is burnt. I made turkey bacon because it's healthy. It's completely burnt now. I'm so mad at myself. Goodbye.